Chapter 1. A Monster in the Shadows. Buckle up, friends. This story will haunt your nightmares. In the quiet suburbs of 1980s Moscow, where kids rode bikes and dreamed of summer adventures, a predator lurked, hiding behind a mask of normalcy. His name was Sergey Golovkin, but to a terrified nation, he was the Fisher, a phantom whose crimes turned Podmoskovye into a graveyard. How did one man fool everyone for years? What drove him to commit atrocities that defy human understanding? This is a descent into darkness. And trust me, you won't look at the world the same way after this. It was the mid-1980s, a time when the Soviet Union was fraying at the edges. In the idyllic towns of Katuar, Odintsovo, and Zvenigorod, families sent their children to pioneer camps, believing they were safe. But Golovkin, a tall, unassuming zookeeper at Moscow Horse Breeding Farm No. 1, was watching. He wasn't just a worker, he was a hunter, meticulously selecting his prey. Boys aged 10 to 12, slim, dark-haired, curious. His garage, tucked in the shadows of the farm, wasn't just a workplace, it was a torture chamber. The question burns, how could evil this vile hide in plain sight? Let's unravel the horror, step by chilling step. Chapter 2, The First Spark of Evil. Picture, warm May day in 1986. Andrei, a bright 12-year-old, pedals through Katuar's forest to check his birch sap jars. He's the kind of kid who loves nature, always smiling, dreaming of becoming a pilot. But that day, he vanishes. His father finds him the next morning, his body broken in a clearing. The autopsy reveals a nightmare. Andrei was raped, bound, strangled, his throat slit, his genitals mutilated. Who could do this to a child? And why were the fingerprints on his bike too smudged to trace? But this wasn't Golovkin's first strike. Rewind to 1984, a pioneer camp buzzing with kids. Another Andrei, a shy 11-year-old, sneaks to the smoking area hoping to fit in. A shadow approaches, binds him, and tightens a rope around his neck. Miraculously, the boy survives, waking with a rope burn but alive. The killer made a mistake, leaving a witness. Yet the case was buried, dismissed as a one-off. No one connected the dots. How many more would suffer because of this oversight? The answer will chill you to the bone. Chapter 3, Summer of Fear, Summer 1986. Pioneer camps are alive with laughter, campfires, and games. Parents kiss their kids goodbye, trusting the system to protect them. But in Odintsovo, a young man lingers near the camps, his eyes scanning the crowds. He's unremarkable, blending in, but his gaze is predatory. No one notices. Why would they? Until June, when 12-year-old Andrei disappears from a camp. His body is found in the woods, pants gone, hang from a tree. His genitals are gone, his abdomen sliced open, his head severed and discarded nearby. This wasn't a crime of passion. It was a ritual. But who was behind it? Andrei was a dreamer, always sketching animals in his notebook, hoping to be a veterinarian. His loss shattered his family, but the police were stumped. Witnesses saw a man near the body, carving tree bark with a knife, but no one could describe him. Then a breakthrough. Andrei's friend, shaken and teary, claimed he saw the killer, a man with a snake tattoo and the word Fisher on his arm. The name Fisher spread like wildfire, becoming a boogeyman for Moscow. Was he real? Or was this a child's terrified imagination leading the police astray? The truth is darker than you can imagine. Chapter 4, The Fisher Myth Grows. By 1989, Fisher was a household name, whispered in fear across Podmoskovye. Parents kept their kids indoors. Mothers prayed in secret, defying Soviet bans on religion. The police chased the Fisher relentlessly, checking every man with a tattoo, every Fisher by name or nickname. Hundreds were interrogated. sexuality, alibis, past scrutinized. But the trail went cold. New witnesses muddied the waters, their descriptions clashing, fueling more sketches, more dead ends. Why couldn't they catch him? Because Golovkin was a ghost, always one step ahead. In September 1989, 10-year-old Seryoja vanished from Kryukovo. He was a cheerful boy, always chatting with neighbors, planning to visit Moscow's arcades. He stood at a bus stop, but never boarded. A year later, his remains were found scattered in a forest, bones gnawed by animals. The killer knew how to dissect, like a surgeon or butcher. The police checked hospitals, slaughterhouses, even the horse farm, but no one fit. A tall man drawn to boys, skilled with a knife. The fisher was everywhere and nowhere. Could they ever stop him? Or was he unstoppable? Chapter 5: The Monster's Descent. By 1991, Golovkin's crimes grew bolder, more depraved. During Moscow's August Putsch, when tanks rolled and checkpoints choked the city, another Seryoja disappeared. He was a quiet kid, loved reading adventure books, always helping his grandma. His body was found skinned like a trophy, the hide salted with animal feed salt, chunks of flesh carved out. The killer was spiraling, his urges consuming him, yet he was cagier than ever. The police drew a triangle: Svenigorod, Uspenskoye, Gorky 10, his hunting ground. He had a car, a garage, a lair. But finding one car in Podmoskovye was like chasing a shadow. In 1992, the horror peaked. 3 boys, Yura, Denis, Vladik, became victims 11, 12, and 13. Yura loved soccer, dreaming of playing for Spartak. Denis was the class clown, always pulling pranks. Vladik, with his gentle smile, wanted to be a musician. Their bodies were found piled in a shallow grave, tortured, mutilated, barely covered. Golovkin's arrogance was his undoing. A cross and icon from Vladik. A buried bottle with a police note marked the site. The boys were from the horse farm settlement. They'd gone to Moscow's arcades, driven by a friend, Sergey Golovkin. Was he the fisher? The net was closing, but the truth was worse than anyone imagined. Chapter 6: The Fisher's Lair. Who was Sergey Golovkin? To the horse farm, he was a model worker, a communist hero who could talk for hours about horses, charming boys with his stories. Tall, plain, he shunned women, but no one saw danger. Yet the police found clues. He owned cars, a garage with a basement, and access to feed salt. 2 weeks after the boys' bodies were found, they arrested him. What they uncovered wasn't just a killer, it was a monster's laboratory. Golovkin lured boys to his garage with promises of cigarettes, vodka, or horsetails. There, he'd bind them, declaring, "I'm the fisher." Then the experiments began. He raped, tortured, and dismembered, savoring their pain. Vladik was forced to watch Denis die, then kick the stool from under him. Blood drained into a child's bathtub. Bodies hung on a wall hook. Denis endured 12 hours of agony, his chest branded with slurs by hot wire. Golovkin burned skin with a blowtorch, methodical, detached. How could a human sink to such depths? And why did no one see the devil in their midst? Chapter 7: The Mind of a Monster. Golovkin confessed with eerie calm, leading police to buried bodies, pointing out the bottle marker. He described his crimes in detail: cutting throats, severing organs, relishing humiliation. But who was he? A lonely boy torturing cats, boiling fish, fantasizing about roasting classmates at 12. As a zookeeper, he sang while probing horses' organs, his eyes alight with joy. His ideal victim, slim, dark-haired, curious, haunted his dreams, a twisted blueprint for murder. Sentenced to death, Golovkin waited in prison, joking about showing his torture rack with the investigator's son. He craved life, but felt no remorse. Locals burned his garage, filled the basement with trash. But the scars of 13 boys, Andres, Sryojas, Yura, Denny, Vladik, linger. Can we stop monsters like him, or is the next Fisher already watching? Drop your thoughts below. How do we catch these demons? Subscribe, hit that like, and brace for our next dive into darkness. It'll be even more chilling. Don't scroll past. Hit like and subscribe if you're ready for the next twisted story.